Hello, this is a video on how to play Seahaven Towers. Seahaven Towers is a type of solitaire game. And so what you can actually do is commonly Seahaven Towers um, is played commonly solitaire is played with a single player, right? That's one of the drawbacks of solitaire in that you can't really play with multiple people. And so it really limits your ability to not only include other people, but to also have fun, right? Because generally, the more people you play with, the more fun you have, at least from my experience. Um, but Sea Haven Towers is special in that you can play with multiple players. And so the goal of Sea Haven Towers, like with any solitaire game, is to move all of your cards into the four foundation piles. Notice that this sequence here, right, resembles towers, right? And so that's why it's called Sea Haven Towers. Do note that all players are given, so however many players you play with, um, each player needs their own deck of cards, right? And so if you play with 7 players, you need 7 decks of cards. If you play with 2 players, you have 2 decks of cards. Every single player, you can also play by yourself, but we'll talk about both scenarios as we go because it's quite simple. If you have multiple players, all players are given the exact same tableau. Tableau meaning piles of cards arranged in this manner, and the 2 cards up here. Meaning, if you have 7 players, every single player has this exact same arrangement of cards, right? It makes it fairer. It allows you to compete. If you play with other players, the winner is the player who finishes the fastest, right? So it's kind of a timed competition. And so Sea Haven Towers uses a standard deck of cards. The cards are dealt face up into 10 tableau or piles of overlapping cards of 5 cards each. So you'll arrange 10 piles of 5 cards each like so, seeing all the cards, right? And so you'll arrange it exactly in this manner so that you can see the previous cards. But note that you can only play the cards that do not have a card overlapping them. In this case, we would only be able to play the cards in the bottom row here. Do note that the 2 remaining cards, right? Because you'll deal 50 cards here. The 2 remaining cards start in 2 of the 4 available free spaces up at the top here. And so the exposed bottom card of each tableau can be moved either into a free cell or onto an exposed card of value of 1 higher and of the same suit. So we could take this. I don't know if I want to make this move, but we could take this 9 here and move it right there, right? Because that's 10 is 1 higher and of the same suit. So you can either move a card into a free cell by itself, right? Any card, or you can move a card onto a place it on top of a card that is 1 higher and of the same suit. A sequence is a group of cards arranged in numerical order and of alternating colors. And so that would be a, I don't know, 2 of hearts, 3 of clubs, 4 of hearts, right? And so a sequence can also be moved together if the length of the sequence is no more than 1 greater than number of empty free cells. So that sounds a little complicated, and that's honestly the most complicated part of this game, so that's good. Essentially, the number of free cells you have empty, you can move a sequence of 1 more than that amount. In this case, we only have 2 free cells filled, and so what we can do, we have 2 empty free cells, and so we can move a sequence of 3. If we had no empty free cells, then we could move no sequence, right? Because 0 plus 1 is 1. That's not a sequence. If we only had 1 empty free cell, then we could move 1 plus 1, or 2, a sequence of 2. If we had 4 free cells, we can move 5, right? So it's the number of free cells plus 1. And that's the length of the sequence for that you can move. Now, Existing sequences of any length can be moved to create longer sequences, provided the topmost card of the sequence being moved can be played onto the exposed bottom card of a tableau. Essentially, you can move a sequence, once again, if it is one rank lower and of the same suit of the card you are moving it onto. So I don't think I really have a sequence here. Try to find one. Does not seem like I have one built. And so we'll try to build one here. But even if we don't, it's not that big of a deal, right? Just note that. Sorry, I apologize for that sound there. Just note that sequences are just considered of the suit doesn't matter in a sequence, okay? And so all you need is them to be alternating colors. The suit does not matter in a sequence. So, for example, a sequence would be, in this case, we could go with a 5 of diamonds, then a 6. Well, I can't move this because I think it has to be the other way. And so that's what we'll try doing. No, it has to be alternating colors, right? So that's my bad. Alternating colors like so. And so it's quite hard to actually arrange it, but when it arises, we will actually move them. To keep in mind. So we have to empty these free cells somehow. So I can show you the. I can show. Okay. I'm unable to show you the sequence, but I will. Essentially, it just has to be one rank higher, and then you move it onto a card that is one rank higher and of the same suit, and then you can move on either a sequence or a singular card. Note that sequences, the suits don't matter, you just need alternating colors. And so that sounds pretty simple, and it is. Do note that initially only aces can be moved onto the foundation pile. And so there's a foundation pile, right, for each suit. So initially only aces can be moved onto the foundation pile. So that last ace is right over there. And so what we'll try to do here is we will try to well, we can't really get to that ace, but I think you understand, right? You just want to get all your cards stacked in the foundation piles. You can move a card between onto another card if it is one rank. If the card that is you are moving it onto is one rank higher and of the same suit, you can move an entire sequence, provided that the top card of the two cards, the card of the sequence that will be contacting the card that you were touching is also one rank higher and of the, one rank. How do I phrase this? You can move a card provided that it is being placed onto a card that is one rank higher. You can move a sequence provided that the top card of the sequence is being placed on a card that is of the same suit and one rank higher. A sequence must consist of alternating colors. The suits do not matter in a sequence, right? And so that's pretty simple, and it is. It sounds pretty simple, and it is. And so, right, obviously you begin the foundation pile with aces. When you fill up all the piles, you win. Any card can be placed. If you empty any of these tableau piles, then you can place any card to fill it. As well, you can also place any card in these free cells up here. The game ends when either all of the cards have been moved into the foundation piles, or the player has no legal moves, in which case they lose. And so, what will we do? Well, we want to try to get that 2 of clovers is looking really nice, but it seems a bit hard to reach. What we will do is we will take this 10, place it at the jack. That'll allow us to grab this 2 and place this 3. Now, what will we do then? We're in a bit of a lock here. In that these are all of our potential cards that can be used to make valid moves. Right now, it seems that really we are unable. I will have to use this free slot, making that move with the 4. Then I can go 5, 6. So now we will go with a 6 and then a 5. That allows me to place. Well, I can't place this 2. Oh, I can. We'll go with this sequence right here. I don't know what I'm doing, so bear with me. I'm just trying to make some logical sense of what the game plan is here. Take that 4, move it like so. Now notice how we can take this sequence. Okay, I don't even think it needs to be alternating color. I think it can be alternating color. Which is note how we lifted an entire stack there. And so do note that you can, I guess you can just lift any stack there. But it can be an alternating color. Now, what we'll do here is we'll take this jack. I don't want to use my free spaces if I don't have to. Right, and so I do have an 8 of diamonds and a 7 of diamonds there, but I have to sort of unmask this mess over here, as well as try to get to that 2 of spades. 2 of clovers. So what I'll do is I'll move that jack there. This will allow me to uncover the 2, the 3, the 4, as well as the 7 of hearts, as well as the 3 of spades. Now, we still need to get that 2 of diamonds. What we can do is we can take this 4 of spades, uncover it like so, put that 2 of diamonds, put that 3 of diamonds, and I'm sorry, but I'm just sort of demonstrating how you would play. And I don't know really what's happening here. We do want to get to that 7 of diamonds. We do. And so I think the smart move is to move this entire sequence of king and queen, right? Like so. That way, we then go for a nice maneuver with the diamonds here, right? You have to think ahead a bit. And this is the maneuver that I was speaking about. And so now we just need the queen of diamonds. She's right there. We have to do something with this 8 of spades. I did not want to use all of my free spaces here. So what we have to do is we have to try to get the 8 of hearts. I believe it is beneficial to try to get the 8 of hearts. Like so. Move them like so. Oh, but that queen of diamonds would... Okay. 8 of hearts, 9 of hearts, 10 of hearts. Just get the jack of clovers like so. And these empty slots allow us to free up the free cells, right? And so I hope just by watching this gameplay, you're sort of be able to understand how to really play. You're sort of getting a feel for the game. We want to keep those free cells because those are our last resort. We want to keep those free as much as we can. And surprisingly, this is the first card game that I'm going to win. Okay, that I don't know why I tried stacking it on there. I apologize. Surprisingly, maybe the first card game that we are going to win in a long time. Okay. This is quite satisfying. So when you do good in a card game, it's quite satisfying. As you can see,